Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Abe with MysticGenmara.com, a small town mystic from the middle of Idaho. And tonight, whenever you happen to be seeing this, I would like to offer your weekly elemental rune reading for the week of June 14th through the 20th of 2026. These are general readings, so take what works for you, leave the rest for someone else. If you've never had your charts read, there is a link in the description you can check out for a natal interpretation chart through Llewellyn. It's just the base chart with the little 12 houses and all the little signs and symbols, and then there's a 10 to 20 page description of what all that chaos means. And it is kind of an interesting way to look at it. There is a section in there on a elemental alignment if you're curious about that part of it. And then there's a couple other affiliate links down there you can click through that do help support the channel. And with that, we will get started with our, Fire family. Fire covers the zodiac signs of Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. So if you're Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, then this message is for you. And I will say, as I was shuffling the runes, this rune leapt out of the bag and almost fell on the floor. So it's basically calling out for fire. It is the Jira rune, or the rune of the year. Color is light blue, tarot association is the Fool, and astrology is earth. So these are all complementary elements and energies to fire. Signifies the cycles of life and nature. Something will come to fruition, effort receiving its reward. But you also have this new beginning, and there's some things that you may not know about that's coming up this week. It's really a good energy because the Fool card, even in tarot, is about new beginnings, new starts. There's this energy that's coming forward for fire this week that's saying you're happy about some new changes. There's some new prospects that are showing up on the radar here, and there's going to be some challenges. You kind of know about them, but you're not sure what they're going to be just yet, and you don't really care because you are on this mission to go forward. And with this being a rune that jumped, it's saying this could be a startling new thing for you, or there could be something that's a little bit of a surprise with this new beginning for our fire family, but that's also a good thing. And Earth is saying, even though it might be a little bit of a surprise, something shocking, something outside the norm, we'll call it that, you're still going to be grounded, and it's going to be more anchored in, so it may be a little startling, but it's not going to be destructive, which is good. Excuse me. And your second rune is the Inga's rune, which is a rune of fertility. Color is yellow. Tarot association is the Judgment card. And astrology is the new moon. It's a completion of idea or project, a new beginning, a time of positive energies, good fortune. Fire, you have a surprise something coming up this week. There is that energy going on. And with these two runes in particular, with Jira and the year, this is a long-term thing that gets to begin this week. And I think you had this either last week or week before. So you've got this new beginning energy going on. And sit down and think about that for a second. Sit out with your journal if you're a journaler and write down what is new, what could be coming in. And allow yourself just to kind of free write what is coming forward here. With this energy of fertility, it could be that you are soon to be expecting a new minion popping along the way. There's a couple of other different things I'm feeling. There could be a new business venture. I'm not feeling promotion because that's not really a new journey for you. It's more of just next amplification of the current one. So you do have a few things that are not quite being pointed out there. There's, like I said, the new business venture, so that's an entirely new thing. Or there's a new minion coming in. That's the other one that keeps popping up. So fire, you might be just a little more fertile than normal this week, so pay attention to what's going on there. Let's hop over to our Earth family. Earth covers the zodiac signs of Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. And if you are Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, or have Earth high up in your chart, this one is for you. And Earth, you're starting off with the Elder Futhark, so these are the ancient runes, which is Fehu, and it's the color of light red. Tarot association is Tower. Astrology is Aries. So Earth and Fire, there's definitely going to be some compatibility going on this week. Good luck, success, fertility, and harmony. That's the basics. You had the Tower card, so there could be a little creative destruction going on here too, where something needs to be removed to make space for something new, better, expanded. And like I said, with fire, they have fire with grounding, you have grounding with fire. So you've got a good balance going on here, Earth, and that's leading to these new beginnings, and that's allowing Earth to see what needs to be taken down, removed, so you can build up the next level. There is this energy of discernment you're getting, and the Tower is one of those cards where a lot of people see it as negative. I see it as opportunistic, because you get to take something down that's not working for you, and you get to find a better use for the bits and bobs that are left over. So let's look at your second rune. We have Perth, which is the rune of fate. This is an interesting combination. Color is black. Tarot association is the Wheel of Fortune. Astrology is Saturn. Saturn's a little more serious, but Saturn does work with Earth pretty comfortably. Mystery, chance, the unexpected, material gains and surprises, hidden things coming to light. This ties into that energy of the Tower. Earth, this is going to be a week where your fire aspects are going to be very enhanced, especially if they're an Aries aspect. But you also are getting this energy of Saturn going along with it. So there is, I don't say this to be rude, but there's going to be some discipline that needs to be enforced, whether it's you enforcing discipline on a situation, or someone or something enforcing some discipline on you. There's this call to structure that's coming forward here. With Fehu and Perth, you're calling in the fate energy. This is something that has been set into motion that really is not, there's not a way to jump off the ship, basically. Things are moving, so now it's just time to ride the wave. The Wheel of Fortune is saying there's going to be ups and downs this week. The ups are actually going to outnumber the downs, but doesn't mean it's going to be a perfectly smooth week, because you do have some challenges to work through. But overall, I feel like Earth, you're going to end up in a really good spot. You just might have to work for it a little bit. So see how that plays out for the Earth family out there. Let's do a little shuffling. Yeah, but the energy, the one thing I will say that's pretty definitive, this is something that you've worked for, Earth. This is something that you've been putting into motion, and this is a week where there's going to be basically a manifestation of the things that you've been working towards coming to light. So let's take a peek at our air energy. Air covers the zodiac signs of Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. If you're Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, then here's your reading. Air, you're starting off interesting with the Isa rune, which is the rune of ice. Color is black. Tarot association is the Hermit. Astrology is the Moon. It's an obstacle, coldness between people, a time to observe, keeping silent, and refraining from comment. Air, you're either really chatty or you're very contemplative, so this is the time to step into the contemplative side. This week is a week where Air is not going to have the best of luck. That's not a good thing, that's not a bad thing, that's just a thing. It's really also saying pull away. The Hermit is saying this is not a week to be social or vivacious or connected to the world as a whole. It's this time to just observe. There are things at play you may not know. There are things moving behind the scenes. The source is wanting you to say, you know what? I don't know what's happening right now. I need to push back. I need to stop. And I need to acknowledge what's happening, because things are not set in stone this week. This is a week where you may have some theories and thoughts being shaken a little bit, but that's because it's time to pause. It's time to look at things from a different perspective. But the Hermit's saying it's not a good time to be social. So like I said, the Isa with ice energy coming in, definitely not a time for activity. So let's see what your second, well, your second rune's not much better. We have the Word rune, which is the blank, which is a fate rune as well. It is the mystery and the fates, the unknown, to have trust and faith. But you also have an energy of things happening that you have no way to stop. There's been things put in motion, and that's why this Isa rune is saying, now that the ball has been moved, or the ball is put into motion, you need to stop moving and let fate take its course. Let nature, let source, let God have the path ahead laid out. You have no more active role this week. Things are in motion. You do not need to be involved. You need to observe. And this is one of those things for air. You may be gathering information. There may be some intelligence gathering, you might say, which is right up air's alley anyway. But it's really, the vibe I'm getting here is it is not your time for action. You've already done the action part. Now it's the time to let Source do his thing. Let God, the divine, however you see that aspect, let that do the work, because it's no longer yours to deal with, because now that it's in the hand of the fates and it's in the hand of those who weave the web, it's no longer your problem, air, and that's may not be the most comfortable thing to have this week, but that's what I'm getting. So let's take a peek here at our water energy, the Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, all of our fishies out there. Let's see who we are starting with. Oh, that's interesting. Water, you're starting with what fire started with. The Ingas, or fertility rune, color is yellow, tarot association is judgment, and astrology is the new moon, a completion of an idea or a project, a new beginning, a time of positive energies, good fortune. Water, prepare for some very interesting news this week, and I don't know why I feel that this is the case. This is one of those things where you've been putting out energy, you've been putting an effort into something that has been growing behind the scenes. Water, I'm seeing this energy of you don't understand the tidal wave you started. You feel like you just keep pouring a teaspoon of water into a cup, but the reality is you've been literally filling the tank behind you and you didn't even realize it, and it's about to come unglued. And that's where this fertility aspect is coming in. You have set things in motion that it's really a time for new beginnings. And it'll be interesting to see what your next rune is, but it's a tidal wave is what they keep showing me. So see how that plays out, Water, because I'm feeling very strong that there is something big that is happening this week for you, and it's a shift or a change in how you see things. But it's the fertility aspect is you've been putting in the work, and now things are coming to fruition where there is a new beginning, but it's because something else is coming to an end, and that's what's triggering this new start. Your second rune is the ancestral god Odin. The rune's name is Anzus, and the color is dark blue. Tarot association is death, and astrology is Mercury. So you have some air coming in here. Wisdom and help from someone older, magic, psychic powers, or initiation. I almost don't want to tap into this energy, Water. You have these two strong runes coming in. There is a force to be reckoned with that is supporting you and backing you. But then you have the ancestral god of Odin coming in with the death card of all things to say it is time to bring an old pattern, an old system to a close. This is supposed to be a weekly reading, but what's coming in is something that is going to be a long-term process. But this week is the time where the balance tips. Water, as much as I don't want to say this, stay grounded this week, because water is going to be something that might be a little more emotional than normal. And with that Mercury energy, you have this intellectual side, but it's also a call to swiftness. Death, swiftness, air, intelligence, communication. You have a great deal of change and movement going on this week, Water. So I would stay grounded as much as you can. Pray to God's source and have the angels and the guides hang out with you this week, because there's something shifting, and they won't show me what it is. General readings, of course, it's harder to see, but I keep getting this impression of tidal wave. There's a huge amount of movement occurring around you right now. Things are going to turn out all right, but this tipping point this week could be a little bit on the rough end. You may not be ready for what's about to happen, but it's going to turn out in the best possible way. That's what that fertility aspect is. So things that you've been building are really working in the right direction, but there's this call to something else having to end before the fullness of that can take place. So, in general, I feel like this week is not going to be the most peaceful week for anyone. There are some challenges that are coming in, and the energy that I keep getting through all four elements is this is something that has been fated. It's something that the web weavers have put into their weave, like kind of like the pattern behind me, where you have been building and you've been building, and now it's time to stretch things out and actually let the picture be seen. And that's what I feel is coming in for all the elements this week, is a pattern is coming to fruition, something that you've put time and effort in, each element, earth, air, fire, water, and now it's time to see the results, rewards, or consequences of the actions that have been building up here. So let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts are on that, and if you've noticed that there's a tipping point starting to build. While you're down there, hit that like button, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. But I just keep feeling there's a shift occurring this week, and this may not have anything to do with anyone individually. There's a shift occurring that is going to call our attention back to the spiritual side, back to the source of all creation, and that's being called out to our souls. We're feeling that deep inside of who we are as people right now, and even people who may not be as spiritual are starting to feel that discomfort of something's missing and something is starting to call them forward. So be open to the spiritual this week. Allow yourself the gift of communicating. If someone asks about things, don't overthink it. Let source kind of lead you through that conversation, because I feel like there's going to be a lot of that happening starting this week, but possibly moving even more forward. With that, I will let you guys and gals go. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next video.